Welcome back to Briggs on Books, our international talk show. We're talking to authors all over the world. We just finished one from France. Now we have a guest from, I think, in Canada, and she wrote a book. Here it is. You're looking for your next book to read? Think about reading Inconceivable. And we not only do I have the book here, but I have the author as well. If I can find her, there she is. Welcome, Corrina.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk Inconceivable.
Now you're somewhere in Canada. Where?
I am located in Nova Scotia, Halifax, East Coast.
East Coast, okay.
Yes.
I never know where it is. Are you ever surprised by how Americans know so little about Canada?
I think that might work vice versa too. I definitely spent a lot of time in the United States, which helped inform the settings and a lot of the themes in Inconceivable. It's also why the topic is so close to my heart.
Tell us about Inconceivable, what it's about, and a little bit about the protagonists. Is there one or several? And,
Absolutely. Well, this story ultimately it's a thriller of a ride. It's a real page turner. And it's got a unique twist at the end. And what it does is it takes four characters ultimately and shows their interwoven lives and how the consequences of their actions impact others and really leak out. It's centered around an ultimate villain being Teresa, the serial abortionist. And that's one of the reasons this book came into being was Roe v. Wade, the abortion debate. And I wanted to take a new look at that. So James, the male protagonist, is a powerful male voice, and that's something I really wanted to bring up because it shows the women and the power dynamic, and that's something we don't often discuss in the abortion debate. So that's something that this book does go into, and it gives you that opportunity to take a look and consider it from all different angles.
Now, and is your book particularly pro-life, pro-choice?
I think ultimately that comes down to the reader. I think during the process of researching for the book, it took me through so many stories, much like a journalist researching out a piece, right? So I think that somebody could go into it. And ultimately what I'd like to say is that my opinion is of so much less importance than the opinion of the characters in the story. That's where it really comes through. Take Felicity. She's pro-choice from the start. James, pro-life all the way. Teresa's just completely out there as a serial abortionist, and these characters come together in such a unique and beautiful way to show everything from the horrors to the love stories and the beauty that can happen with childbirth. James's wife is also infertile, which is another reason that Inconceivable got its name.
I get it now. Yeah, so it sounds like it takes the view of different people and the man's view, which isn't always talked about too much in this debate.
Absolutely. I think James, I think there's a certain set of people who would look at his character and see the obsessive side, the desperate need to help other people, that attachment. But there's also people who could see the victim because ultimately she took from him something that it was his child, and that's something he can never get back, and that's a real tragedy and something that often gets overlooked. And Teresa is a character who exploits that power dynamic that women have during pregnancy throughout the whole book, and just the number of lives she's wreaked havoc on. And these four characters get to bring that all together and highlight that male voice.
Is it set in a specific city in California?
This book actually, because of the nature of Teresa and her sinister activities, goes all the way from Texas to Kentucky, through to Colorado, and all the way into California. Ultimately, everything comes to a head at California, but the book is a real journey through the states because, especially right now, we all know how varied all those opinions are. So there's something for everybody in this.
Yeah. Now, and it's a thriller, right?
Yes, it is. It is a awesome suspense thriller. There is each chapter is prefaced by a Bible quote that kind of alludes and gives you a little bit of a hint to what's going to happen. And ultimately it's about seeing whether they can stop Teresa in time. A woman who goes by so many names, who has done some truly despicable acts. And it's about whether or not they can actually make that difference in time, which also brings it back to showing just how much that one precious life matters.
Yeah, amazing. And kind of you're answering my question, which I ask every author is, who's going to read this book? Who's your audience?
My audience is anybody who has children, knows children, anybody who relates to women's rights, to men's rights, and to humans' rights. Ultimately, it's up to the individual to see that moral ambiguity that goes into these complex decisions, and that's something this book offers them, that chance for introspection and that chance to, it's a dark thriller. It explores extreme topics, but it's sure to have you at the edge of your seat, and no spoilers, but the end will bring you to tears.
And there's a twist, which I love.
Yes, absolutely. And I think a lot of it becomes about understanding and feeling the characters and using that to not necessarily trick the audience, but use that emotional connection to get the message of the book across, which is ultimately that it's an important thing to talk about, especially right now.
Yeah, right now. Amazing. Yeah, I love anybody who likes a thriller with a twist will love this book, regardless if they want to get into the topic or not the topic. It just sounds fascinating. Travel and places and experiences, and I could tell that you're a passionate person, and that's going to come out in the book. By the way, is it in, people keep telling me to ask this question, what formats is the book?
You can get the book in either Kindle e-format, or you can order it in paperback, and then either it works really well. Depends on if you're a Kindle reader or you like the good old-fashioned. Yeah. I'm a fan of both.
What about the ebook? You think? I mean, an audio. You think you'll have an audio book?
Oh, that's definitely something that's been proposed to me, along with the idea of optioning it for a movie, a movie feature.
It sounds like a movie.
There's definitely a future for Inconceivable.
Well, tell you what, I have a Kindle. I have had it since Father's Day. It's still in the box. I've not unpackaged it, but maybe yours will be the first book I read on Kindle.
And I guarantee that you're going to love it. And it's easy to read in Kindle. They do an amazing job formatting it. Huge thank you to the Austin McCulley team, the publishers who gave me this deal and this opportunity to talk about an important topic.
That's great. Yeah, I almost switched to strictly audiobooks because I can't see the words on the page anymore. So maybe the Kindle will help with when I could change the backlighting and the size and stuff like that. So.
I think so, and it does auto format, so it should be pretty easy to read. And don't worry, I'm a huge fan of audiobooks as well. I think every different media has something different to offer, and it's by exploring all of those that we get to get the most out of the artistic world.
Yeah, they're signaling me we've gone over time. When you get a great guest, you just want to keep talking to them. But quickly, tell me, I have your web address on the screen, CorrinaMurdoch.com. What would our viewers find there?
You can find links to past interviews, to all my socials, as well as ways to buy Inconceivable and my breakthrough novel, God Complex, a coming-of-age story. But definitely, if you have interest in the presidential election, if you have interest in women's rights, men's rights, and having our voices heard, grab your copy of Inconceivable today. And thank you so much for having me.
Well, should we read it before we make our decision in the election?
I would definitely say to get it as soon as you can, but the topic is never going to go out of style. It's something that is here to last.
Yeah. Corrina, thank you so much. It's a thrill to have you. I'm just excited about the book. I probably never would have read it if I had not heard you talk about it and get so excited about it. So for our viewers, we'll get the book. By the way, I only say this about books I'm really excited about. Don't go to Amazon and click once. Order 5 of these things and give them away to your friends and people who need enlightenment, things like that. All right, Corrina. Thanks, and we'll be back with another author right after this.